Well, good day to everyone. I thought I was a bit overdue in doing a cutting video. So I picked out a few of my larger pieces that I thought would be good to see what they look like on the inside. I've already sliced 2 or 3 that convinced me that I need to do a cutting video because I was surprised at what was on the inside. And so I picked out these, and we'll go through them real quick here. This one is, when it was dirty it just appeared like a piece of black, but it turns out to have an interesting pattern. It's relatively thin to start with, but I thought I'd just try to take a slice lengthwise and see if it looks any different on the inside than it does there. It looks really nice. I like it. This one is I guess you'd call it a chert, but it has these blue lines in them that I'm curious to see how they look in the inside. Again, a fairly thin piece, and it appears to have a crack running through it. You can see it. I'm going to try to cut along that crack and see what it shows. This, again, another piece of black. I'm curious what it sees on the inside. Looks like on the inside. And this one appears to be one of those yellow Jaspers, yellow, orange, brown. But out at the river, I took a chip off in it, and it shows that it's actually white on the inside. But there are some crystal pockets there, and which makes me really curious. And that's those crystal inclusions are the reason why I brought it home. So still kind of dirty there. But I'll find a flat side and take a slice off of that and see what it looks like. Pattern chert, another interesting chert, as well as this one down here. This one actually has a more interesting design in it that I'm really curious. Of course, I threw in a piece of red. I think we probably all know what that looks like in the inside. I don't know if this is Jasper or if this might be quartzite, but we'll open that up. Another piece, I assume it's yellow Jasper, but then of course it may be like this and white on the inside. Another interesting patterned Jasper slash chert. We'll take a slice through. And this piece, it has some chalcedony on the one side, but it has a parent rock here too. But you've got these blobs coming up and through at different spots. And I thought I would just slice right through this center and see what that looks like on the inside. May not be anything. I don't expect much from it. And then in the end, at the end of the video, I'll show you the 2 or 3 pieces that I've already sliced. One I was really shocked by. I didn't expect what was in the inside and was rather pleased with it. But we'll slice these open and I'll show you in a little bit. So as I'm sawing here, I'd like to say just a little bit about the equipment that I use for slicing. This saw that I have, I received on trade for some work that I did for a man. His father hobbied in lapidary work and rockhounding as well, and he was settling, at the time he was settling his father's estate, having passed away. And so I received this saw, which is an 8-inch, I guess it would be considered a trim saw, but I use it for slicing. And I also received 2 horizontal laps. You can see one of them here. Both could be set up and used for faceting, and a number of laps as well. So they work fine for me. I can slice rocks up to about as big as my fist on this saw, and it's all hand feed, so I have to be there. But I'm satisfied with the arrangement at this point. I don't get that much big material, so it does what I need at this point. The one horizontal lamp that you can't see, I'm still working on setting that up, trying to arrange a pulley for it so it will run at a slower speed. All right, here we go. I've got them all cut with a few extras on the side, and some turned out to be kind of disappointing. Others turned out to be better than I expected. Incidentally, please excuse the traffic. It's late enough in the morning, people are moving, and I live by a kind of a busy street. So let's start with the ones that were more towards the disappointing. The black ones, like this one, I opened them up and they're rather plain and gray on the inside. Although I do like the little, let's see if I can, how close I can get this without it going blurry on me. So it turned out to be rather plain and gray, but I kind of like the little vein inside. It looks like the squiggly line on a Richter scale. So I don't know what I'll do with this as of yet, but I do have something in mind that I can do with those. The other black one, which showed a bit of a pattern on the outside, it wasn't really black, it was just very dark. And I opened it up, and there's certainly some veining, rather interesting veining. I think the light blue that you see here at the bottom is quartz or chalcedony. Not really vivid colors, and I'm getting used to the thought of that, because a lot of the stones that we have around here are more earth tone, and they aren't quite as vibrant as some of the other people are finding. But still, interesting to see what's inside. It's always fascinating to see what's inside. Let's do this one next. Spray this off. This is one that on the outside looked like a piece of orange and maybe red jasper, and that again did show up, had an interesting pattern on the inside. A little plain down here, but I like this portion up here. Like I've said before in one of my videos, I'm a sucker for a good pattern, and like that piece. Let's go to this one back here. This one, it was this side of the rock that sold me on picking it up, and so when I open it up, there again, interesting, nothing real spectacular, but interesting pattern. So even the plainer pieces that I end up picking up and collecting, I do have some projects in mind to do with them, so all is not lost. if I open up a rock and I'm disappointed with the texture or the color or the pattern, I still have things that I have in mind to do. And incidentally, just as a kind of a foreshadowing, while the summer months are upon us, the warmer months, I do plan on continuing to go rock hounding out and about. But when the winter is upon us, I plan on doing videos of some of these projects that I talk about, spending more time in the lapidary shop, making cabochons out of rocks that I really like, and making other projects. And so I will continue to have videos in the wintertime. I hope to anyway. And so stay tuned for that. This rock broke up when I sliced it, obviously, but I was really kind of pleased with the inside. There again, more earth tone and color, not as vibrant as we see some of the other YouTubers, but I like the pattern. I like this, and we'll do something with these smaller pieces. This one I may tumble. These two maybe I'll tumble, but I like the texture of that rock, and it is a silicified rock. It's a hard rock, not grainy or anything like that. I should lay these all open as I show you them. The red piece, which I was not sure whether it was Jasper or quartzite or quartz. It looked very, the fracture on it isn't very glassy, and so I wasn't sure. And I opened it up, and well, first thing when I sliced this, I could tell that it was very hard on the inside. It took a long time to slice even that little piece, and so you know, there's a discussion to be had about what separates agate from jasper and what separates jasper from chert, and I don't know that there's a really conclusive way of addressing that issue, but this has definitely been harder than some of the jaspers that I've cut, and it seems more agate-y on the inside, agate texture, agate hardness, but yeah, some red and maybe some clarity if I slice it thin enough. We'll see, but I'll slice that up and do something with it. Let's see, I'll do this big one in the back. And then this one, we got a little glimpse of this corner before, and so I knew that the orange on this was not all the way through. It was just skin deep, and I could see by these crystal inclusions that it looked like it was a piece of had fossils in it, like I've picked up several pieces. And sure enough, when I sliced it open, it shows the clear on the inside, but also the crinoid type fossils in there. And so I definitely got something in store for a piece like this, which I'll cut up and show you in the coming months. It turns out I've picked up several of these rocks. They're quite common. Let's see, I've already done this one. This one. Let's do this one. This one, I really liked the look of the texture from this perspective, and so I wanted to take a slice off of this end, and I was really pleased with how rich and how how rich of a texture and the design was and the pattern was on the inside. Very pleased with that. And so there you go. I should get it so it isn't reflecting the sun off there. Very pleased with that pattern. And so let's see this one, which I forget now. I could go back in my videos and look and see which video it was that I collected this from, or which stream. I picked it up because of the gray, almost blue variegation in the white, and hoped that it would translate to the inside, and wasn't disappointed. Has a nice blue section going through the middle of each stone, and it's certainly a kind of a slate blue. It's not a brilliant like lapis blue, but still I like it nonetheless. I really like that. This no doubt would be considered chert, but if chert can produce blues like that, I will gladly keep collecting cherts. The surprise for me was this stone. This stone, when I got it, it looked like a piece of parent rock, host rock, that just had on one side a little skin of chalcedony, and I expected it to be only, you know, a 1/4 inch thick and the rest of it parent rock. And I was shocked by this piece. And it turns out that I've got another geode. Very pleased with this one. Blew me away. Very pleased with how that turned out. And had this piece chip, and that's no problem because that's just the host rock. What I think I'll do is I'll probably grind that flat so I can sit it down and make a nice little display. I may do that with both sides, but little crystal cavities, quartz crystal cells in there, and some interesting and fascinating plume type design around the edges. So I was really pleased with how that turned out. I did not expect that. So that was one of the surprises. Now I'm going to show you some of the things that I did before I decided to do a cutting video. This piece here is a piece of chert, fractured surface, and I thought, well, I like that it has a very glossy, waxy look to it, but it's chert, and I didn't know, I thought it might be good to use for flint knapping. Take slices out of it, even though it's very fractured. Now that I got it wet, you can see there's this quartz patch here. This is the rock that convinced me I needed to do a cutting video, because when I opened it up on the inside, you had this, again, dark slate blue with the swirling patterns in there, and I was just blown away and surprised by what I saw, and I thought, you know, I should probably do some of these things for the pattern. I did not expect anything from it, and that's why I didn't film it before, take a picture before and have a before and after picture, but wow, I really like that. And so there again, if even though we don't maybe have the brilliant banded agates and clear chalcedonies of some places, boy, if I can pick up material like this, I'll gladly go out and pick up chert, and won't disparage chert at all. Another piece that surprised me that I cut before, and I didn't think much of it because it, you know, dry, it looks like just a piece of coarse material with, I picked it up because there's some quartz bandings in there, and I thought, quartz bandings, and I thought, that might be interesting. Tumbled, or when it come down to it, I ended up slicing it, and I was surprised at how brilliant the colors were on the inside. Look at that. So, what do you call that? Banded Jasper? Banded, because it's got the quartz, and the quartz, or the chalcedony, is more grayish than it is clear, but still, wow, that looks, to me, that looks really beautiful. And so those two pieces will become cabochons, no doubt. And you can look for that video probably come the winter sometime. Here's a piece that I picked up in the last video, my most recent video. I picked it up, thought it was a banded chert, banded Jasper, not Jasper, banded flint maybe. And I was actually kind of disappointed. I saw all these lines on the outside and was hoping that, and expecting them to translate to the inside. And they actually didn't, to the extent that I would have liked. There's still some interesting bandings here, but not too bad. I'll use it for something. But there again, earth tones. Nothing as vibrant as, say, this red piece down here. I'll open these up as well. Yeah, here's another chert. Thought would be interesting. It turned out to be, again, earth tones, interesting pattern. The gray in there, it may look a little blue on the screen, and it is, but not quite as brilliant a blue as some of the other two pieces I've showed you. But still, I don't know. I really like patterns. I really like the swirls and the I don't know how it's formed, but the design that comes from this. And then the last piece that I have to show you is just a piece of red. You can see I didn't even clean it off very well. Still got some algae growing on the one side. But it was a piece of kind of pinkish red, and I opened it up, and turned out to be not Jasper, but Feldspar. And here again, this is another rock, kind of like the cherts that aren't much appreciated or much talked about. And you know, this one's all broken up and crystallized in different forms. But Feldspar, not all of it, but some of it has a luster, and I'm going to eventually try to make a video where I capture the way some of the Feldspar that I have reflects light. And it's you know, it's best seen in things like labradorite, where it reflects the blue color. Well, this does something very similar, not to the brightness of that, and certainly not a blue color, but kind of a off-white, not quite pink, even though it's a red stone. But the way it glistens in a certain way, you hold it in the light, it does that. Not all the pieces that I pick up do, but this one does, and a couple of the others that I've picked up do. And so I was real pleased with how this turned out, and I'll do something with those. Those will probably become cabochons as well. at least the very ends. I don't know if I'll include this dark portion or not. But so that's the cutting video. Put them all down here and get them all into focus here. And so I was disappointed by some, very pleased with others, and that's just the way it goes with slicing rocks. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and again, please stay tuned. More will be to follow. As I mentioned, rockhounding videos in the summer here, in the warmer months, and as we get into the winter months and the colder weather where everything freezes over, we'll start turning some of these into the projects that I've been mentioning. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you the next time.